Voice is awesome. So you have got to stand up to that voice. When you're working on something you want to achieve, you have got to stand up to that voice. You've got to sell yourself every day on your abilities, on what you're doing, on the goal that you want to reach. You've got to sell yourself every day, every day, every day. According to your level of belief, it will manifest itself in what you're doing. Whatever we have right now, whatever we're demonstrating in our lives, is a result of what we believe subconsciously that we deserve. And part of increasing that belief level is that you have got to convince yourself every day. You've got to sell yourself. I do a lot of training for many corporations, and I conduct sales seminars, and I've heard all kind of guys doing techniques and training people techniques of how to close sales and how to work with and begin to control the sale and how to ask for the close. Let me share something with you. You can learn all the techniques in the world. If you don't believe in yourself, it won't happen for you. I learned all of it. So that's why I do a training called Focus on the Seller. You've got to focus on you. And as you convince you, as you sell yourself every day, every day, every day, you will begin to see a difference in the things that you're doing. Selling yourself on your ability to perform a job, to achieve a certain objective. Telling yourself every day, here I go again. And I got what it takes. This is my day. And nothing out here is going to stop me. And when you go out there in life, say, come over here. Say it again. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. That brings me to the next thing. It takes...
A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. Nothing is by its own nature calamitous. Even death is terrible only if we fear it. The best revenge is massive success. Marcus Aurelius. This quote reflects the Stoic belief in focusing on personal growth and achievement, rather than dwelling on negative emotions like anger or resentment. A good laugh and a long sleep are the two best cures for anything. Stop being okay with everything.
The realization of your true nature is the highest form of knowledge. Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Take me and throw me where thou wilt. I am indifferent. For there also I shall have that spirit which is within me propitious, that is well pleased and fully contented both in that constant disposition and with those particular actions which to its own proper constitution are suitable and agreeable.
I'd like to talk with you this evening about being hungry. Somebody said, I'm hungry. It is something I like to share some ideas and thoughts with you. I'm not asking that you believe anything that I say. I'm not asking that you agree with me. I'm merely asking that you stand on and in the conversation that we'll share with you this evening. And if there's something that I say that can fit and work for you, I say use it. If not, discard it and let it be. Is that all right? Yeah. Say, that's fair enough. Very good. All right. One of the things I have realized, and many of us have, that if you want something out of life, if you want to change yourself, if you want to acquire something, if there's some goal that you want to reach, that is really not easy as some people will make us feel. That living your dream, changing your behaviors, overcoming negative habits, it's challenging. It's hard. that living alone is just very difficult. And once we begin to come to grips with the fact that living is difficult, life is very challenging. I heard a song once by a guy named Dimples called, "If It Ain't One Thing, It's Another." I say to you, if it ain't one thing, it's 12 others. Always something. You will never ever have a problem-free moment in life. Somebody said, and I like this, that you either in a problem or just left one or headed toward one. Anybody found that to be so? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, there's always something. So how do we...
Be patient and tough. Someday this pain will be useful to you. You cannot open a book without learning something. It is not things themselves that trouble us, but our judgments about those things. Epictetus. This quote emphasizes Stoicism's focus on controlling our internal reactions and perceptions to external events. Sometimes we see a lot but do not notice the main thing. You are here for a reason that you may not know, but be patient. You beat 1 billion odds by being here.
Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Jim Rohn.
In every undertaking, consider what comes first and what comes after. Then proceed to the action itself. Otherwise, you will begin with a rush of enthusiasm, having failed to think through the consequences, only to find that later, when difficulties appear, you will give up in disgrace. 2. Do you want to win at the Olympic Games? So do I, by the gods. For that is a fine achievement. But consider what comes first and what comes after, and only then begin the task. You must be well disciplined, submit to a diet, abstain from sweet things, follow a training schedule at the set times, in the heat, in the cold, no longer having cold drinks or wine just when you like. In a word, you must hand yourself over to your trainer, just as you would to a doctor. And then, when the contest comes, you may strain your wrist, twist your ankle, swallow lots of sand, sometimes be whipped, and after all that, suffer defeat. 3. Think about all this, and if you still want to, then train for the games. Otherwise, you will behave like children, who first play at being wrestlers, then at being gladiators, then they blow trumpets, then act in a play. In the same way, you will first be an athlete, then a gladiator, then an orator, then a philosopher. But you will do none of these things wholeheartedly. But like a monkey, you will mimic whatever you see, as first one thing, then another, takes your fancy. All this because you do not undertake anything after properly considering it from all sides, but randomly and half-heartedly. 4. So it is when some people go to see a philosopher and hear someone speak such as Euphrates, and who can speak like him? They too want to be philosophers. 5. But first consider what sort of undertaking this is. Then examine your own capacities to see if you can bear it. So you want to be a pentathlete or a wrestler? Look at your arms, your thighs, examine your back. Different people are naturally suited to different tasks. 6. Do you think that if you do these things, you can still eat in the same way, drink in the same way, give way to anger and irritation, just as you do now? You must go without sleep, endure hardship, live away from home, be looked down on by a slave boy, be laughed at by those whom you meet, and in everything get the worst of it, in honors, in status, in the law courts, and in every little affair. 7. Consider carefully whether you are willing to pay such a price for peace of mind, freedom, and serenity. For if you are not, do